When I was in kindergarten, my teacher asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "Happy." My teacher said, "I don't think you understand the question." And I said, "I don't think you understand life." This is not actually my story. I found it on the internet. But I think the kid had it right. What I actually said when I was 5 years old is that I wanted to be a fire truck. By 10, I had figured out that being a fire truck probably wasn't the best life choice. And I decided I was going to be an architect. At 15, I was going to be a psychiatrist. At 17, a physicist. At 20, an engineer. At 22, I was sure I was going to be a neuroscientist. And if you asked me last week what I was going to be when I grow up, I would have told you an entrepreneur. Now, this isn't exactly my career trajectory, as you may have guessed. My first job was as Tweety Bird at Six Flags. After that, I was a receptionist. And then I was a data entry person. I was a tutor. I directed a TEDx program. I've been a grants administrator. And now I'm a landlord. Totally different lists. But what's interesting to me is that neither of these lists actually tell you that much about who I am. Only about what I thought I was going to be, or what job I've had, how I've made money. How many of you are doing now what you said you would do when you were 5 years old? Or even 10, or 20? Okay, a couple. But the majority of us aren't. What if instead I told you that at 10 years old, I was a gymnast? At 15, I played oboe in an orchestra that performed internationally. When I was 20, I was falling in love with my husband. At 22, I moved out of the state that I had lived in my whole life and lived somewhere else in the world for the first time. And at 28, I decided to become a student again. I think this is a little more interesting and a little deeper story of who I am. And I think that's true of all of us. Rick, for example, if I ask him what he does for a living or what he's going to be, he's a speaking coach. But if I ask Rick about his life, I might find out that he's gone skydiving, that he's hitchhiked across the country 3 times. There are stories there that we don't get at when we ask our usual question of, what are you going to be? What do you do? So I wonder why this is our default question. Why are we asking, first of all, how you make money instead of how you live? And second, why are we looking at this future goalpost, and why are we so concerned about other people's future plans instead of who they are in this moment when they're with us? Instead, why don't we ask, what was the most exciting thing you did last year? Or, what's making you happy today? Or this morning, when I was talking to Celeste, and I was telling her about my education, she asked, what does that mean to you? Much better questions, deeper questions, more meaningful questions. So the next time I'm meeting someone new, instead of going for the default script that we've all been taught is the way to start a conversation, what do you do? Who are you going to be? I may start with, what brings you joy today? Or even, what did you have for breakfast yesterday? I like that better. And when someone asks me, what are you going to do when you graduate? The question that I'm getting a lot lately, since I'm graduating in a week. Wow. The answer, to be honest, is I don't know. But the real answer is I'm going to be happy.